Welcome to the Esthetician Coach podcast, where passion meets strategy. I'm your host and esthetician coach, Amber Boone, and each week we're talking strategies, solutions, and mindset to build and attract your best life and career yet. Welcome back to the Esthetician Coach podcast. Can I be a little honest with you guys? This podcast is actually going out a little bit later today because I've been so busy with my business. And I'm sure you guys that are running your solo business or your big business, either one can relate because there are so many things and so many different hats that we have to wear. It seems sometimes impossible to get everything done. But podcast is important to me. It is priority. I will release it usually on Wednesdays at some point. Usually I like to release it at 5 a.m. and do that first thing. So I usually try to record Monday or Tuesday, sometimes on the weekend, just to have that ready to go out. But as you guys know, life happens and, sometimes we don't get everything done that we would like to. So I apologize for being late today, being tardy. But today we are cutting through the noise about one of the most misunderstood topics in skincare, lymphatic drainage. And you hear it all the time. I feel like it's a little bit of a buzzword, but it's a buzzword that's been around for a long time for good reason. It's a really good tool to have for yourself, for your clients, just to know more about. So that's what we're talking about today. And you've seen the gua sha tutorials. I've got several on YouTube if you want to check them out. But you've seen the people on TikTok scraping their faces maybe till they're red. That's not the right way to do it. And maybe you've tried it yourself and wonder, is this actually working? Is it doing anything? Or am I just creating more chores for myself? So the truth, lymphatic drainage is a real science. There is science behind it, and they're discovering more and more as they study it. But 90% of what's shown online is completely missing the mark, and they're giving misinformation. So today, I'm breaking down what lymphatic drainage actually does, how to do it the right way, and what mistakes are wasting your time. Okay, are you ready to dive in? Let's do it. Let's start with what lymphatic drainage really is. Your lymphatic system is basically your body's detox highway. It clears out the cellular waste, the excess fluid, the toxins, and inflammation, all things that we want gone, right? Think of it as your skin's built-in cleanup crew. And, it works well on its own, but it also works when we help it along. Think of it as your skin's built-in cleanup crew. Your blood supply is pumped by your heart. But movement with our lymph is not required by us, but it can definitely and significantly aid in the flow of your lymphatic system because it lacks a central pump like the heart. So it's going to rely on a combination of factors to move that lymph fluid, including smooth muscle contractions within those lymphatic vessels themselves. Breathing is a great way to move your lymph. I mean, that's easy, right? And the compression from your muscles as you move your body. So exercising, massage, all of those things that we enjoy doing sometimes. I need to get on the exercise train. I've been not so good lately. So when you're sitting at your desk, hunched over your phone, or you're carrying tension in your jaw and your neck all day long, your lymph slows down because it becomes stagnant. That's when you start to notice that puffiness, that dullness, those breakouts, maybe that tired face look that really, honestly, no serum can fix. I hate to tell you. I wish it could. But one of the reasons I love gua sha is because it helps move that lymph. It helps create that circulation. So let's dive into some of the myths about lymphatic drainage. So a common misconception is more pressure equals more results, but that's just not the case when moving lymph. In fact, it takes very little pressure to actually move that lymph. The lymphatic vessels are extremely delicate and they live right under the surface of the skin. So you don't really have to do deep tissue to get a good lymphatic massage. And the key is going to be slow, light, sweeping movements that follow those natural pathways toward the lymph nodes, especially under your ears, along your jaw, and down the sides of your neck. And if you're pressing too hard, you're more than likely closing off those very channels that you're trying to move that fluid through. So it's important that you get it right. So think flow, not force. Myth number 2, it's all about the face. Your face lymph drains down the neck. So just by doing, your face or focusing on your face, I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but you want to open up those pathways first so that your lymph is draining properly. So you want to always start by opening the pathway, gentle downward strokes from the jawline to the collarbone, then behind the ears and across the shoulders. And once that's open, then you can move up the face and properly work out and down to drain that lymphatic drainage, or to incorporate and encourage that lymphatic drainage. Myth number 3, you don't need fancy tools. Now, I love my gua sha tool. I love a good scalp tool. I love all of them. In fact, they are for sale on Skin Soul Rituals, and I use them every day. But you don't need fancy tools. You don't need it. You can use your hands. Your hands can be just as effective as a lymphatic drainage tool in moving that lymph. The magic is going to be in the consistency. Use your fingers, use your breath, use gentle self-massage. It's all about rhythm and flow. And there are some great tutorials. And like I said, I have a few on my YouTube channel as well. And I'll link those below. But you can do this daily for 2 minutes. Your results will continue to compound. I'm preparing right now for a gua sha challenge currently. If you want in, sign up in the show notes and I'll send you access once I open that up. And you don't need to necessarily purchase anything. You do want a good gua sha oil. I sell a glow elixir, and you do want a gua sha tool. And I sell that as well, sell it in a kit if you're interested in that. Or maybe you already have one, so you could still sign up for the challenge and do it with us. This episode, I want to say first, is brought to you by Skin Soul Rituals, my own holistic beauty brand created to help women slow down, reconnect through simple, intentional rituals. That's why I created it. So every product is handcrafted. It's got clean ingredients. It's intentional and skin-loving botanicals, because you don't need a 10-step routine filled with chemicals. You need 5 mindful minutes. And my personal favorite right now is my Glow Elixir facial oil. It's infused with calendula, rose, and chamomile. So it's slow infused with those herbs, guys. It's amazing. And it gives your gua sha the perfect glide. That's why I created it. I couldn't find one that I loved. But it's going to give your gua sha the perfect glide for that sculpted, dewy finish. So you've got that nice glow. You can shop it at skinsoulrituals.com and use code SKINSOUL10 for 10% off your first order. Now back to the episode and what actually works for your lymphatic drainage routine. So here's my 3-step lymph flow ritual. You can do it every morning or anytime you're feeling puffy or sluggish. Step 1, you're going to open up the pathways for that facial lymphatic drainage. Start at your collarbone and you'll feel that open space right above it and gently tap like a cat making biscuits. They're pawing. This is activating those pathways. It's opening them up. Then move up the side of your neck, behind the ears, and down. You're signaling your lymph system to get moving. Step 2, flow. So apply a few drops of facial oil, Glow Elixir, my preference, because it's going to be lightweight, non-toxic, and it gives you just enough slip without clogging those pores. But using your gua sha tool or your fingertips, sweep from the center of the face outward, chin to ear, cheek to temple, under eye to temple, and brow to hairline. Be careful under the eye, though. It's a very delicate area, as you know, so you don't want to pull too hard. You're going to make 3 to 5 passes on each section. So always finish with downward strokes down the neck to drain everything. And breath. Breathe. That's step 3. And this one's underrated, but your lymph and your breath are best friends. When you take slow, deep breaths consistently, it's one of the most powerful and free tools for lymphatic system support. When you breathe deeply from your diaphragm down into your stomach, you actually create a vacuum-like effect in your chest. And it's gently pulls that lymph fluid up through the biggest lymph vessels in your body, which is your thoracic duct. This intentional type of breath work is actually very simple. All you need is a moment and intention. And it's free. You can do this lymphatic practice by breathing anytime, anywhere. Now let's talk about what most people get wrong with lymphatic drainage. So they're either pressing too hard, and I've had this done on myself before. I went to get a gua sha facial massage, and they were just pressing entirely too hard. Or they're skipping the neck. Now, mind you, you want to be very gentle with the neck, but you don't want to skip it. You're working to incorporate your neck, but also those lymphatic drainage points. You're working too fast. So if you're working too fast, it's not doing the job. You've got to do slow, steady, intentional movements with lymphatic drainage. They're doing it inconsistently. So you can't do it once a month and expect to see these amazing results. Now, is it going to help you to do it anytime? Yes. You're going to see results, and it's going to help you anytime you do it. But if you're looking for consistent results, the kind that sculpt your jawline, open up your eyes, and sculpt the cheekbone, you're going to need to do this consistently. But it's something that you can enjoy and you can do every day and really look forward to it once you start and once you make it a habit. And that's what the challenge is going to be about, making this a habit in your day-to-day. And the last one, you're forgetting hydration because your lymph needs water to flow. And you've heard it when you go get a massage, they're like, drink lots of water. Well, that's because it helps the lymph to flow, especially if you've had a lymphatic drainage massage. So hydration is crucial for maintaining that fluidity and movement of lymph throughout the body. Lymph itself is about 96% water, and dehydration can cause that fluid to become thick and stagnant, so leading to congestion, and it impairs the ability to flush out those toxins. So by helping to drink water, and drinking water, let's face it, whether it's good for your lymph or not, lymphatic drainage or not, it's just good for you. It's good for all of your organs and your whole body. So drink more water. So if you've been doing gua sha or facial massage and you've not been seeing those results, it's not that it doesn't work. It's that you could be rushing it or skipping a vital step in this process. So consistency will be key, like anything else, to getting those results when you are properly doing that work. So lymphatic drainage isn't just physical, it's emotional. When your energy and your emotions get stuck, your skin mirrors that stagnation. So as you move your lymph, think of it like moving your energy, letting go. You're releasing, you're making space. You feel lighter, you feel freer. Every time I do my own gua sha or cupping ritual, I try to treat it like a meditation because it's all about aligning with your energy and coming back to that flow. If you're ready to build your own 5-minute flow, here's what I recommend. So in the morning, gentle dry brush or facial cupping. So make it your contour flow ritual. And I love to do dry brushing in the morning. I do it on my body and on my face every morning. Your evening routine, gua sha or glow elixir while you breathe and unwind. So maybe you don't have time to do your full gua sha routine. Use your glow elixir and breathe. Take some deep breaths in while you unwind. And weekly, do a warm towel compress and slow neck drainage. So you use those cat paws that we were talking about earlier and help to open up those pathways. But that's it. There's no 10-step routine. It's just simple, intentional touch. All right, guys. If this episode helped you, please share it with a friend or a client who may be feeling puffy, tense, or just tired of doing all the things and still not glowing. Their glow isn't showing up. So they're coming to you, they're asking you, what can I do? Lymphatic drainage is a great tool. Gua sha, facial cupping, they are all amazing to add into your routine at home and to add into your services. if you're an esthetician. And if you want a step-by-step guide, my Gua Sha Challenge is opening up soon. So it's free to sign up. I'll make sure you receive the updates. Check out the link in the show notes to sign up. And if you love this, leave me a quick review. That's how I continue to keep this podcast going. I'd appreciate a review and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. I hope this episode helped you today, and I will see you next week.